Great. Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take a top stories in crypto and bring them out in bite-sized pieces. So today, just as the thumbnail and the title suggest, there's a big problem. And it's a big problem for the crypto market in general, not just for Celsius about what happened, an email that I received this morning, but in general, the crypto market. So we'll take a look at the story that is Celsius bows the knee and the problem with the United States. Also, we'll take a look at the U.S. Inflation numbers are out, a CPI, and surprise, it's a little bit higher. So that's the bad news. And then we're going to get into some good news, some FORTNITE metaverse, the NBA, and NASDAQ pumping money into crypto, or as far as a survey has been said. And then when we get done, we'll do 5 questions in 5 minutes. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions after this one. So hold your questions until the end. And before we do that, just know that if you're here for the live stream, welcome. I appreciate it. But if you're here for the recording, there'll be timestamps underneath, so you can skip around to whatever you want to. News takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Q&A is about 5 minutes, and then off we go. So let's jump into it, shall we? Let's take a look at the market. And let me just tell you one thing. I was having a great day this morning. Great day this morning. I was like, wow, there's a lot of positive news. I was pretty happy because the last 3 days I've been having some a negative sentiment as far as like the thumbnails and the titles, but I always give you 2 sides of the same story. I tell you about what's going on, and I tell you about the negative and the positive so you can make the best decision for yourself. I am not here to be all a bunch of hopium and everything's going to be fantastic and there are going to be no bumps along the way and it's going to be super smooth and to the moon straight shot. Doesn't work like that. And if you're looking for a channel like that, I am not your channel. So let's jump into it. So first of all, the market, not too bad today, I must admit. We're up a little bit, and there's a couple of noteworthy performances that you might see. And that is, well, Bitcoin's down a little bit. That's okay. Ethereum's up a little bit. Binance Coin's up a little. Solana's up a good amount, 4.5%. Cardano 2, Avalanche, 17% for Shiba Inu. 17%. That's pretty good. Polygon, 5%. What's going on? Well, just real quick. Robinhood decided to add in Shiba Inu, Solana, Polygon, and Compound, and they were added to Robinhood Crypto. And then just as like an off-brand type of thing, but I thought it was interesting. They stated, as a safety-first company, Robinhood, we have a rigorous framework in place to help us evaluate assets for listing, and we remain committed to providing a safe and educational crypto platform until we shut things down because we don't want you to trade. And that's just one of those things. And pay for order flow. Robinhood's chief broker officer, Steve Quirk, said, the addition comes after the company said last week it activated its crypto wallet for 2 million eligible customers, making digital asset transfers broadly possible in a long firewall investment, which is great. I got to tell you, that's good news. The more exposure that we get, I'm happy. So congratulations for all you holders. I don't own any Shiba Inu, but Solana and Compound, yes. And just so you know, that's the 11th listing for all these different ones. For all their rigorous approach for Robinhood, they have listed Bitcoin. All right. Bitcoin SV. Okay, sure, whatever. Bitcoin Cash, I guess. Polygon, Shiba, Solana, Compound, Dogecoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ethereum Classic. So I will leave it up to you to decide why they listed those and what the positives and negatives are, but that's not the whole point. The whole point is to talk about some other things. And also, just so you know, we had covered this yesterday, but as far as like liquidations and leverage plays, if you went long, better luck next time. I know it didn't work out for you this time, but longs got liquidated at the tune of almost $500 million yesterday. And again, like I've said, if you were shorting, you're doing a pretty good job, actually. So for all those people that are leveraging out the wazoo, I mean, that's all you. And if you're making money on shorting, well, I can't fault you for making money. I just can't. But it does lead to a little bit of volatility. So anyhow, that's what's going on in the market. Let's bring into the big story, which is this one. We talk about Celsius bowing the knee. And I got to tell you, again, I was feeling pretty good this morning until I was doing my morning exercises, doing all the great things. And then all of a sudden I get this email from Celsius. I'm like, ooh, this ought to be interesting. And here's what they said. So let me blow this up so you can see it. Tuesday, April 12th. That's the day, right? pretty sure. Yeah. Dear Celsians. And it was a nice way to say it. Today, we're writing to give our community advance notice of upcoming changes, which will go into effect on April 15th, 2022. 3 days. All right. Celsius has been working closely with regulators around the world. And that's great. I mean, look, I've always said on this show, we need regulation. We need regulation. I think it's important, at least to clarify what crypto is. Do we know, is it a security? Is it a commodity? Is it a currency? Just the basics would be nice, and that's why I talk about it. Now, regulation, there's the opposite end of regulation, which is over-regulation. And I give my example as of, like, we can all agree that it's good to have some speed limits in like a school zone. Nobody wants to have a speed limit posted of 75 miles per hour in a school zone, kids getting knocked all over the place, right? So like, first, let's define what a school zone is, all right? And then just say it's about 10 miles per hour, and then everything else, off we go. So there's always going to be mistakes. I think this is one of those mistakes as far as over-regulation, but it is what it is. This is what we got. So more specifically, we have been in ongoing discussions with United States regulators regarding our earned product. There will be changes to the way our earned product will work for users based in the US. Here's how these impact you. All coins transferred to Celsius by users in the US prior to April 15th will continue to earn rewards. So a couple of things to make mention of here. First of all, if you're outside the United States, this does not affect you whatsoever. Again, if you're outside the US, this does not affect you whatsoever. It's only people in the US. And the reason why I bring this to your attention is because it doesn't just stop there. If the regulators are going to work their way into with BlockFi, they're going to shut them down, not shut them down, but shut down their earn rewards program. Then they're going to move on to Celsius, and they're going to say, you're going to stop that. How far away are we from all the other ones that are out there? I mean, I think Voyager is next. I could be wrong, but that's the next logical step that I see. And that's why I think there's a good play for DEXs, decentralized exchanges, and DeFi. Hard to work into that, but I'm getting off topic. So it states here, okay, all coins transferred to Celsius by using United States spread. Those existing coins will continue to earn rewards from April 15th and onward for as long as they remain in their earn account. So if you have an account in Celsius and you have already put different tokens and cryptos in there, as long as they're there before April 15th, you're going to keep earning for as long as they stay there. Make sense? Great. On April 15th, Celsius will be launching a new custody solution for users in the US. Your custody account will serve as the centerpiece of your home for crypto, providing a secure way to navigate across Celsius's products, including store, access, borrow, spend, earn, and grow. Great. That's awesome, right? And then new transfers made by non-accredited investors. Let me say that one more time. New transfers made by non-accredited investors in the US will be held in their new custody accounts and will not earn rewards. Non-accredited investors can continue to swap, borrow, and transfer within their custody accounts based on local jurisdiction. So first of all, if you're in Texas, you can't swap anyhow. So good luck with that. And if you're a non-accredited investor, then sorry, Charlie, you're SOL. So here's the next question you might have. Rob, what's an accredited investor? I'm glad you asked that question, because here's what it is. Accredited investor. In the US, the term accredited investor is used by the SEC under Regulation D to refer to investors who are financially sophisticated and have a reduced need for the protection provided by regulatory disclosure filing. So what they're saying is, you're a moron and you can't handle it. So we're going to protect you, and that's just how it is. We don't care if you go gamble your life savings away, but dang it, you are not going to invest in these types of things. We'll protect you till the very end. Anyhow, accredited investors include high net worth individuals, banks, insurance companies, brokers, and trusts. And then moving down, just to clarify, this is the requirement. To be an accredited investor, a person must have an annual income exceeding $200,000 or $300,000 for a joint income for the last 2 years. So if you do it in 1 year, if you make $1 million in 1 year, they're like, you're still a moron. It's got to be 2 years, with the exception of earning the same or a higher income in the current year. Great. The income test cannot be satisfied by showing 1 year of an individual's income and the next 2 years of joint income with a spouse. A person is also considered an accredited investor if they have a net worth exceeding $1 million, either individually or jointly with their spouse. So if you make $1 million, you're savvy. Make underneath that, not savvy. You're a pleb. Just sit back, grab some bench. Don't get rich. Stay poor. An entity is considered an accredited investor if it is a private business, development company, organization with assets exceeding $5 million. Again, more than $5 million, you are in that golden zone. However, in 2020, the U.S. Congress modified the definition of an accredited investor to include registered brokers and investment advisors. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on this one, but it sounds to me like if you already have made some money, then you can make some more money. But if you haven't made that much money and you see an opportunity, you're not going to be able to invest into this. There's other ways for you to do that, but not here. And definitely not in the United States. And that's just how it is. So that's what's going on. But let's jump back real quick and talk about the last points here. Okay. Loans. All coins posted as collateral against the loan that is open prior to April 15th will be returned to their earned accounts when their loan is repaid. Because I have a loan, and that's nice to know. Those coins will resume earning rewards for as long as they remain in their earned accounts. Verified accredited investors in the United States will be able to add new coins into their earned accounts to earn rewards. So that's what's going on. Before everybody gets up in arms, I still think, first of all, you have to look at what Celsius had to do here. Do you think Celsius had a choice as the regulators come down? And it wasn't just the SEC. I believe these were different state entities that came down on them and said, hey, you got to stop doing this. And they worked with everybody as much best they could. And now here we are. So that is the process that is going on. Kind of a bummer. However, as time goes on, I don't expect this to be the case. I expect them to be very successful as time goes on. Just right now, it's going to suck. And again, with regulation, that's what you get. That's what you get when you ask for it. I asked for regulation, and I still stand by it. Is this a great example of regulation? Absolutely not. However, if regulation comes out and says, you know what, we're going to define these as securities. Great. They're all securities. So now all these different exchanges, all you got to do is just register them as securities. We're trading and buying securities right now on Robinhood. And they're also doing cryptocurrencies. Securities, stocks, equities, those type of things. If they want to say that, then let's just do that. And let's just move on. So then all the different financial institutions can go, okay, we have regulatory clarity. We can actually get in. We can't give regulatory clarity by the community. It has to come from these guys, whoever, regulatory entities, and go from there. So that's what's going on, and that's where we're at. And I will just say this. I am an accredited investor, and there's a process that I have to go through for Celsius to show that I'm an accredited investor. Not hard. You just put in some bank statements and that's it. However, is that really fair that I get to do these things and you don't get to do these things? So what I'll be doing is I will not be submitting that paperwork to do all these things, because why should I get an advantage and you shouldn't? Just because I made a little bit of money, does that make me smarter than you, more savvy than you? No. Sometimes I'm an idiot. Ask my wife. So I just don't see how this is fair. And I see this as a big problem in the United States. And last thing I will say this is not going to be very popular, but in Russia, the one that, yes, there's a big war going on in Ukraine, at least they got one thing right. When they came through and said, we want to get regulatory clarity and here's the rules for investing into crypto, you know what they make you do? They make you do a test. And if you can answer some pretty much basic questions as far as like finances, they allow you to invest the maximum amount into what you want to buy into cryptocurrency. All you got to do is pass the test. That shows that you're smart or smart enough to know about financial literacy. So just because someone made $200,000, I will tell you this. My brother makes more than that, and he's a moron. And do you think that I would let him invest? Sometimes no. But that's just how we have it here, and that's the problems and so on and so forth. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Jesus, criminy Christmas, that was 14 minutes. Let's move on to our next piece. U.S. inflation numbers. So this is a bummer, but we knew this was coming. U.S. inflation numbers are this. You're going to hear about this all day, so I'm not going to spend much time on it. U.S. inflation jumped 8.5%, highest since 81. Labor Department said Tuesday that its consumer, the CPI, things that we pay for, jumped 8.5% in March from 12 months earlier. Ouchie. The sharpest year-over-year increase since December 1981. Prices have been driven up by not just money printing, but bottleneck supply chains. That is true. Robust consumer demand, and disruption to global food and energy markets worsened by Russia's war against Ukraine. I can see that. I can also see, of course, the money printing is kind of a big thing. We have been printing a ton of money. So just so you know, the data that they got this was from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. We had actually covered this a couple of days ago when we were talking about recession and the potential possibilities that could come down the pipe in the next 12 to 18 months. But just so you know, here's the 12-month percentage change of CPI as far as like food, energy, electricity, taking it all into account. And here we are. That's pretty high. It looks like, but remember, it's not seasonally adjusted. It means they adjust it for the time frames as far as like the time of the year, because sometimes we need a little bit more food, a little bit more electricity these times, but this is not seasonally adjusted. But we can definitely see that as things move forward, we are really picking up the pace as far as what we are buying and how much it actually costs. Did you know you can even take a look at this? This is pretty, the average price data for like bananas and ground, let me see. How much are bananas? Bread, chicken, eggs, milk. What the heck is this? Wow, beef was $5.33. It's crazy. Tomatoes, kind of hard to make out the tomato coin. So yeah, everything is going up, and that is, of course, the situation that we are in, and that's the bad stuff. Let's move on to some good news, shall we? Because I always like to, if I'm going to tell you some bad news, let me balance it out with some positivity so we can go, oh, okay, the world's not on fire. So this is what's going on. Fortnite, first of all. Fortnite, or Epic Games that created Fortnite, raises $2 billion from Sony and Lego to fund a metaverse plan. So first of all, I don't know if this is a big story, and you'll see in a second. So this is what's happening. There was $2 billion, which the deal, which is still subject to customary regulatory approvals, would bring Epic's equity valuation to $31 billion. Let that sink in. Epic, that made Fortnite, they have a valuation of $31.5 billion. Take a look at this for the crypto market. As far as the market cap, like Bitcoin's $768 billion, Ethereum's $368, Tether's $82 billion. So like we have the same, like Terra is almost there at $30 billion. Cardano was $31 billion, $34 billion for XRP. And that one's going through a lawsuit in SEC. So all these things, like the top 9 roughly and above, they have roughly the same valuation as this pretty enormous global company that is Fortnite. I just thought it was interesting. So again, this is them creating a metaverse. The question that I have is this a big thing for crypto? Because are they going to use their own crypto token? Is it going to be a metaverse where it's just like an Oculus that they put on and people walk around and interact and they say, that's a metaverse? Or what kind of metaverse are we talking about? Is it decentralized, or is it more like a centralized metaverse that Meta is doing over on Facebook? So I can kind of see how it's like, well, it's a metaverse name only, but is that a big thing for crypto and digital assets and for the tokens that you own right now? I don't see it, but I could be wrong. I'm in the comment section. But at least, at the very minimum, we're talking about the metaverse, and hopefully we go that route. Sandbox, the Decentraland, the different products that are out there, play to earn games and such. So we'll see. And then also, to finish this up, just so you know, NBA's crypto chief registered second ETH domain as league files for 4 NFT trademarks. So this to me, this just shows a little bit more as far as mass adoption if the NBA is getting into things. The league bought or is in possession of 2 ENS, Ethereum name services. This is going to be for Web3 domains, NBA.eth and the association NFT.eth. So we'll see what they do with that. Just because they own the rights and they have some trademark filings doesn't mean that tomorrow they're going to do a bunch of stuff. Look, Walmart did the same thing. They filed a bunch of things for crypto and metaverse plays and NFTs. And that's a long play. Just because you file something doesn't mean you are going to release something in like a week. So don't get your hopes up for, I'm going to be a billionaire tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. But lastly, this is the bullish news of the day. Majority of financial advisors want to increase Bitcoin exposure. This is a NASDAQ survey. So Here's what's going on. A survey of 500 financial advisors, which I am not one of those, saw 72% desiring to invest more into Bitcoin and broader crypto sector if a Bitcoin spot ETF was approved. Debatable, but maybe, who knows. Those surveyed are already invested into Bitcoin or other cryptos or are highly considering allocation to the asset class. Less than 9% of advisors are confident in their ability to expertly advise clients within the asset class. Let me say that one more time. Less than 9% of advisors are confident that they can advise their clients within the crypto asset class. Because it's difficult, I'll be honest with you. Even us who are here 24/7, 365, it's even difficult to pick those winners. But this is noting an educational gap between traditional finance and an emerging monetary system. I will just tell you this. Where I see this problem, I see a massive opportunity for education, for getting into these advisors, into these offices, educating them so they can educate their investors. I see an opportunity for some group or something to go in there and provide that education. Who knows? This was a great quote from Jack Rappaport, head of Digital Asset Index. He says, over the last decade, financial advisors have been focused on shifting assets into index funds. As they incorporate digital assets into their investment strategies, they are expressing strong interest in a similar vehicle that can offer broad asset class exposure for their clients. So you know what would be great? You know, they have the S&P 500. Who was it? Was it Ray Dalio or Paul Tudor Jones? That wasn't it. It was somebody who talks about, they said when their friends ask them about like what they should, invest into, they said, just get into the S&P 500 because yes, you're going to get a lot of Amazon. Yes, you're going to get a lot of Microsoft. Yes, you're going to get a lot of Tesla, but those are the best performing businesses. So like for me, like I wish there was like a crypto exchange that just says, hey, here's a fund, or here's, if you don't know anything about crypto, here's our, I don't know, like S&P of the top 10 cryptos. And then as these start to jockey for position, because like sometimes Avalanche will be in the top 10 and then it'll drop down and then Polkadot will regain. Something that could like put the money into it as these start to fluctuate. I think that'd be the easiest way, just to get in the top 10 and just go from there. Why not? Because that would be exactly what they're talking about here. Anyhow, to finish up, NASDAQ survey found that 86% of advisors who pre-allocated to Bitcoin or the crypto plan to increase allocation over the next 12 months. That's good news. Next 12 months, they want to buy more. While none of them intend to subtract from their portfolios. And just a little note here, this survey only represents a small portion of financial advisors. I mean, 500, that's what a sample size is for. It is still undeniable that professionals entering the space quickly discern value for their investors and latch on for the long haul. And let me just say this. If these guys want to have their clients look at them like geniuses, get into crypto. I'm not a financial advisor, but I've done okay over the last 4 or 5 years. If I would have put the same amount of money that I put into crypto, into the S&P 500, yeah, I'd be up. But I'm way more up in the crypto and digital assets. That's just me. So that's what we got. So look, I know it's a little bit longer, 23 minutes, but a lot of things going on. That's it for today's news. If you want to stick around for the 5 questions in 5 minutes, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, like and subscribe, all that great stuff. I do appreciate you stopping by. And now let's jump into 5Q in 5 minutes, and we go from there. There's a lot of stuff. Thanks. There was 3 things I starred in the very beginning. This was a great comment. I should have brought this up. Bruno says, Celsius will succeed in the long run. I believe that to be true. So sometimes you got to bite the bullet and just go, okay, you want to work with us? We'll work with you. We'll take this down, and it's going to really bite. But as time goes on, we want to be the first ones that you guys give us the green light. That's a very optimistic way. And of course, people in the comments were like, Rob's naive, doesn't know what he's talking about. They're just going to shut everything down. It's going to be awful. Da, 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 da. Sure. Okay. Do you want to tussle with the SEC? I mean, you go right ahead. Mark Cuban did, and he did win. That's true. when they charge him with insider trading. Look it up on Google. It's a pretty funny story. And he beat them like a drum, actually. But didn't work so well for BlockFi. Just saying. And Donovan says, I'm so glad the SEC is protecting us. Me too, man. Me too. And it says the U.S. government could have made a lot of money from taxes, but instead they're pushing people to DeFi. Not too bright. That is the comment of the day. It's true. And it's the same thing I've been talking about as far as like when people say they're going to ban Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, they're not. Do you know how much money they're going to make as far as taxing this as soon as they get some clarity? It's going to be a boatload. And right now with all that money printing, guess what they need? They need that money back. How do they get that money back? Through taxes. And what's the best way to do that? Tax your crypto gains. If you don't like it, move to Puerto Rico. All right. Let's see what else we got. This is a good question. Number one, Marty McCrypto. Rob, why don't you ever cover the developments in the Ripple case? Taking XRP and ETH out of the pick and isolating the SEC, there are huge conflicts between the real issue with regulation. I don't do it because there's other people that do it way better than I do. And I've heard that there's actually a lawyer who covers this every week. Does a great job. I can't do it as well as they do it, so I just defer to them for the experts. That's why. DeFi, here I come. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. You just don't, it doesn't, like, why do I, like, you don't get that, so why don't I get that? What else did I miss? I think I answered all your questions because there's no questions. When do the U.S. become tyrants? We've always been tyrants. Come on, man. Hopefully this video isn't being taken down. Sales will go below $1. Yeah, maybe. Not for sure. I mean, it is negative news, so I can't tell you the future, but it's not looking good. 77. No. What's up, DJ? We need a you and your brother interview. That moron won't come on here. I love him, but he's dumb. Question number 2. Hey, Robin, any comments on the Robinhood effect? Robinhood seems to have a bigger effect than Coinbase, if you take a look at it. And I think it's because they have so few cryptos. So if you want to take a look at the next big one, just watch Robinhood. I mean, they only have 11. So it's a very exclusive club, I would say. So yeah, take a look at those as opposed to Coinbase. Question number 3, can I get a P.O. box in Puerto Rico? You might be able to, but you still got to pass those tests. And 183 days is a hard rule. Also, you have to buy property there. And trust me, if you move there, you'll love it. I did a video on it. Just search Digital Asset News Puerto Rico, and like 2 or 3 will pop up. Watch the one with Anthony Scaramucci, and it's great. The place is great. The people are great. I will say this, though. Everybody's like good looking and in shape. So just to be aware, if you're going to move there, like you want to be kind of like, want to kind of fit in as much as possible. Also, learn Spanish. That's what I'm doing right now. So question 3. Hey, Rob, why accredited investors, rich people, get to keep making interest on Celsius? Because that's what the regulation states. They state that those people are savvy and intelligent, and you aren't because you're not an accredited investor. We don't care if you go into, Vegas and start blowing all your money. That's fine. But don't invest into these types of projects because you're not smart enough. That's what they're saying. Again, I just rush it, hit it on the head. They go, if you're smart enough to pass this test, we'll let you invest whatever you want to do. Makes sense to me. Question number 4, is Nexo a good alternative? I'm not sure what their earn program is, but it might be a viable option. I'm going to be looking more at DeFi, Anchor Protocol. So question is a comment number 4. I'm ticked off about Celsius. I called and sent a complaint. Let's just continue stepping through the little people. Look, it comes out of this, man. What do you want to do? They're like, forget you guys. We're going to keep offering it. And then they just come in and shut the whole thing down. So then people who are already investing, they're done for. It would be very expensive. It'd be a very long process and get it. They really had no choice. And this is the industry that we live in right now. And I think that's why Celsius went to Celsius X. It's not a decentralized exchange, but you can wrap a lot of different things. So I did a video with those guys. I need to release that. But yeah, so if you're looking of who to blame, I think Celsius had their hands tied, honestly. Now, they could have just went rogue and like, forget it. But I think that would have been a good move. And let's see what else. Don't DeFi unless you're damn good at math. That would leave me out then. Anchor protocol, 19.5%. I know. And everybody loves it. It's not sustainable. It cannot be. Sniff, I'm not even going to bring that up. Thanks for the chat. I appreciate it, but no. I try not to get political on this channel because it just drives people away. And then last one. Hello. Last one is just a statement. We need better protocol risk insurance. I have to agree. I think that would be a pretty good one. All right, guys, we're going at 31 minutes. That's too long. You guys got stuff to do, and I got a bunch of stuff to do. Also, if you're sticking around, I want to give you a little secret. Today on Dan DGen channel, I'm going to be talking about the next project I think is going to be pretty big, and that is Fame MMA. Have you heard of Fame MMA? Neither did I. But what they are, it's a mixed martial art organization, and they're based in Poland, and they're branching out into different areas of the EU, into Spain, France, and the UK, and things like that. What they're doing is they're having their utility token. And what you're going to be able to do with that utility token is their play-to-earn game. You're going to be able to interact with the fighters. And also the fighters that are there, they're all celebrities or high-caliber athletes from around that area. And that token is going to be used to buy the pay-per-view showings for MMA, again, for the NFTs, for the play-to-earn gaming, for affiliates. They're also going to pay their fighters in the token, and it's going to be a pretty darn big thing. And I'll explain exactly what it is. So if you want to check that out, there's a second channel. It's called Dan DGen. It's where I talk about, it used to be called Dan Clips. We renamed it because we don't do clips anymore. And we just talk about the new upcoming projects. I think this could be pretty big, and I'm going to explain to you why. So that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing. All the things we talk about are time sensitive. That's it for today. So thanks so much. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Adios.